The cross-examination chamber is where the film begins.
Hutch Mansell, who is drained and harmed, is shown taking care of a lost feline fish and afterward beginning a cigarette. The criminal investigators question him.
He claims to be a no one.
Returning a couple of days, Hutch supposedly leads a typical presence, including his everyday excursion to work, his morning exercise, and his steady failure to get the waste vehicle. Blake and Sammy are his two kids, and he is hitched to realtor Becca. Blake doesn't respect his father, and Hutch and Becca his wife have been separated for quite a while. When Hutch checks on his children one night, he notices his son Blake motion toward the downstairs area of the house since there seems to be a break-in. Luis and Lupita are a pair who are attempting to rob his home when Hutch slips downstairs in silence. Hutch orders Lupita to take the money from the kitchen cash bowl after she spots him and points her gun at him. Hutch refuses their demands for his wedding band and watch, only allowing them to take the watch.
Blake rushes them and has Luis in a hold as they try to flee.
Hutch appears to be about to swing a golf club at Lupita as she approaches them with the gun, but he stops himself and instructs Blake to let Luis go. He does, and before he and Lupita go away, Luis punches him in the face. Hutch feels bad about what happened when the police finally show up, and both Blake and the responding officer reprimand him for not doing something. Eddie, Hutch's employer and father-in-law, talks to him about the event at work, and Charlie, Becca's brother, lends Hutch a revolver to defend himself. Later, as Harry is hiding, Hutch communicates with him through radio. He claims that he saw that Lupita's gun was empty and that this is how he knew not to shoot the robbers. Hutch then visits his father David, a retired FBI agent, who remarks that he doesn't appear well. Hutch tries to get on with his life, but he can't get rid of the regret he felt for not being there for his family when they needed him. Hutch assumes the robbers grabbed Sammy's cat bracelet when she complains that it's missing, so he boards a bus. He sneaks over to David's house while he's sleeping to grab his old FBI badge and gun, but when David notices him, Hutch simply states that he has business to attend to.
Hutch visits many tattoo parlors to ask around till he finds a sketchy one after recalling a tattoo on Lupita's wrist. Hutch is intimidated by the other men present until one of them spots a tattoo on his wrist that resembles a pair of playing cards. After expressing gratitude to Hutch for his assistance, the man leaves immediately. When the tattoo artist sees that Hutch is serious, he directs him to the person who had the tattoo. After discovering Luis and Lupita's residence, Hutch enters it. They give up the watch when he pistol whips Luis, but they don't have Sammy's bracelet. The two beg Hutch to go after he realizes they are the parents of a sick child. Hutch storms outside in the pouring rain and lashes out at a brick wall. Hutch then boards a bus for his home. After crashing their automobile while intoxicated, a gang of males enter and start to abuse the other riders, including a single young woman. In order to take care of them, Hutch commands the bus driver to exit. He starts a fight with the men, who deliver a few solid blows to E, but Hutch quickly dominates them. He is stabbed in the side as they draw a knife on him, but he continues and manages to stab a number of them before being tossed out the window. Hutch is able to stand up again and rejoin the fight inside the bus. When the other men are dead, Teddy, one of the men, tries to shoot Hutch with his gun, but Hutch pulls a pole off the bus, disarms Teddy, and then beats him till he cracks his windpipe. Hutch performs a tracheotomy on Teddy as he begins to suffocate in order to keep him breathing. He then makes his way home and discovers Becca still awake. She observes him being beaten and understands what he has been up to because she is familiar with Hutch's past. He tells her that it's been bothering him that they haven't been close in a while. She tends to his stab wound. Mobster Yuliana Kuznetsova comes up at a local nightclub, dances, and meets with several other accomplices to discuss the safety of their joint money, known as the Obshack. Due to his propensity for dancing and other eccentricities, the others have doubts about Yuliana's abilities, but when he uses the handle of a broken martini glass to slash the face and throat of an Obshack shareholder for looking at him incorrectly, Yuliana demonstrates that he is not to be trifled with. The others raise a glass to his passing because it will bring them more money. When Yuliana arrives at the hospital, Teddy, his younger brother, is there in that state. The medical professionals inform him that he has irreparable brain damage. He brutally questions Teddy's friends about what occurred and who was to blame. Harry calls Hutch and informs him that Yuliana has noticed him and that he is dangerous. To find out more about Yuliana, he advises Hutch to go see a man by the name of the barber. When Hutch arrives downtown, he discovers that the barber was waiting for him.
He hands Hutch a file on Yuliana that highlights his aggressive nature and the fact that the Odshack is in charge of guarding millions of dollars in mob cash.
Any information she can find about Hutch is dug out by Yuliana's henchwoman. She threatens her FBI informant with unflattering photos of him until he digs through the records and discovers highly sensitive information on Hutch.
The henchwoman flees and leaves Yulian on his own when she learns that Hutch was once a brutal killer. Then he issues a command to every guy under him to go after Hutch and capture him alive. He notices 3 automobiles pulling in simultaneously and parking across the street from his house as the Mansells get ready for supper. He tells Becca and the kids to hide in a panic room in the basement because he knows trouble is approaching. As the shooters enter the residence, he then turns off the lights. Hutch continues to battle them, killing most of them with shots and stabbings before being tossed in the neck. He is placed in the trunk by the shooters as they get ready to return to Yulian with him. Hutch, however, awakens inside the trunk and opens it. He gets a fire extinguisher and opens the back seat after realizing he can't simply roll away, dousing the car in flames and sending the assailants flying. One of Yulian's men is still alive as Hutch emerges from the back and discovers him bleeding out while being pinned under the car. Hutch explains to the man that he was once an auditor, which is basically the kind of hitman that everyone knows to be feared. Hutch contacts David and cautions him to be careful as he runs back to his house.
Sammy's eyes are then covered so she won't see the multitude
of dead bodies inside the house as he frees his family from the panic room. Becca then requests that Hutch make sure he returns to them after sending her and the children to a secure location. The gunman's remains, along with one who was barely still alive, are gathered by Hutch and brought to the basement. When he recalls his most recent mission, when he had to kill a man who was stealing money but who begged for his life instead of doing so, Hutch understood the man was sincerely sorry for what he had done and let him go. He eventually located the man and discovered that he was happily married with 2 children. Hutch acknowledged that his decision to retire and settle down was motivated by jealousy. Then, as he leaves to take care of other business, he douses the area in kerosene and sets the entire house on fire. Hutch offers to buy the property to Eddie and presents him with a bag of gold bars. Charlie tries to assault Hutch because he believes he will lose his job as a result of this, but he only manages to get punched in the gut. Hutch begins to alter the space and lay booby traps all over as Eddie collects the cash. Then, after finding the Odshack and killing every guard there, he burns all of Yulian's money. 2 of Yulian's thugs visit the nursing home where Hutch left David in the interim. They attempt to capture him when he is dozing, but David is ready and kills one of the bad guys with a shotgun before smothering the other.
After eating, Hutch visits Yulian's nightclub.
Hutch is surrounded by gunmen until he admits that he is prepared with a claymore mine tied to his finger. Hutch tells the mob boss that he destroyed all he had when Yulian orders them to leave so he can speak to Hutch.
When Yulian discovers the Odshack has vanished, she loses it. Yulian and his men chase Hutch's departure.
Hutch takes them on a chase through the streets at a high rate of speed, killing several individuals before returning to the warehouse. The bad guys arrive at the warehouse and start shooting at Hutch. The 2 men who came to assist Hutch, Harry and David, suddenly catch him off guard. They kill numerous goons by shooting, stabbing, and blowing them up while forcing them to step over booby traps like a device that fires bars to impale the thugs or another that explodes them. When Yulian is left with the 3, she makes a promise to find Hutch's entire family. The mine is subsequently grabbed by Hutch, who then tapes it to a bulletproof window.
As he approaches Yulian while sprinting, he pulls the pin, killing him by throwing Yulian against the wall.
Just as the police arrive, Hutch thanks Harry and David for their assistance but asks them to leave.
The cat is then discovered and taken with him.
Return to Hutch being questioned by the investigators, as he continues to merely admit to being a complete nothing. The 2 then receive phone calls, but they are compelled to let Hutch go even though nothing is spoken or heard. Hutch and Becca are looking at new homes 3 months later. After that, Hutch calls the real estate agent. Although nothing else is heard after he answers it, it is implied that Hutch is still being sought after. Then he and Becca inquire about the home's basement. And that is the end of this movie.